I hand over to Steve Dietch. Steve is Vice President Marketing for Cloud Solutions, and Steve will give you a further insight into cloud. Steve.
Good morning, everybody. The world is a super dynamic place today, and just to sort of sum up what Wolfgang was talking about, if you look at three key things that are going on out there today. Technology meeting emerging markets. When that happens, or you end up having an incredible dynamic around business model transformation. First thing to keep in mind. Second, technology, ubiquitous computing, mobility, tablets, the consumerization of IT, all affecting this dynamic. And third, the social changes, the workforce evolution. For folks that have children today that are either young or going into the workforce, they will drastically change the employee population in the next 15 to 20 years as a lot of us old-timers retire and go away. The Asia-Pacific region and customers today are at the forefront of dealing with that hyper-competitive environment that's being created by new business models, ubiquitous computing, and a socially diverse, changing workforce. And from an HP perspective, our focus, our job, is to be the #1 vendor on the planet to help customers deal with that. We are already the #1 IT company in the world. We have no intention of relinquishing that position as we move forward. Wolfgang mentioned a lot of the dynamics out there in a little more detail, and moving to the cloud. There are challenges as customers move. The first being, for folks that can go back 15 or 20 years, IT has developed into a fragmented set of islands. Separate server stacks, separate network stacks, separate storage stacks, separate management stacks. When you combine that with the complexity involved in just that, with organizational inertia and process complexity, you have a whole lot of complexity. And what that results in is 70% or more of IT spending today being tracked and focused on support and maintenance or keeping the lights on, as opposed to spending the vast majority of IT dollars on innovation and helping the company deal with the hyper-competitive nature of the marketplace. So what do companies do? They have to think about dealing with their IT service delivery capabilities. And the first thing they need to think about is think about it in the terms of a service. Because at the end of the day, that's what's important. It's there, the infrastructure to deliver a service. And services today, depending on where you are, departmental, organizational, geographical, all have different requirements. Performance, cost, compliance, regulatory. Just based on those facts, it demands that an organization, and from an HP perspective, we believe almost every enterprise customer will go in this direction, what we call, and what a lot of people call, a hybrid IT service delivery strategy and infrastructure or environment. And what that means is combining private cloud and building agile on-premise environments with public cloud, where you can consume in a secure way a set of services that make sense, with traditional IT to create the most optimal mix for your service delivery environment. Now, this creates another set of challenges for CIOs and IT leaders. Traditionally, CIOs have been focused on delivering services out of their data center, behind the firewall. Become very good at it. What this adds with hybrid IT service delivery is they now not only have to be a builder of IT services, they have to also become a broker. So a builder and a broker, a very different profile as you try to create a seamless experience for all of your services to your end users. Oops, going in the wrong direction. I mentioned, remember, and I'm going to repeat this again, it's all about the service and what you're ultimately going to deliver to the end user to enhance productivity, stimulate innovation, etc. And you have to think about a service end to end from the time you know this one. From the time you develop a service, to test it, to roll it out and operationalize it, to assure that it's working the way you think it should be working, to secure it, and to actually govern it within your ecosystem. And looking at that end-to-end process, you should be able to automate it end-to-end, the entire life cycle that I just mentioned. You should be able to support, as an IT organization on behalf of your company, the broadest set of applications and services. Which means you should have the most diverse ecosystem and environment capabilities as well. Multiple hypervisors, multiple operating systems, support heterogeneous infrastructure. You should be able to intelligently provision that service, depending on your business policies, once again, performance, cost, compliance. You shouldn't have to create an overly complex management system to be able to deliver those services. You should be able to have a single view of all your services, regardless of whether they're being deployed on-premise or you're going and getting them in a public cloud environment. It should be secure. It's one of the #1 issues associated with the cloud. And not only at the network or infrastructure level, you should be thinking about security as you're developing an application, then rolling it out, looking at the data when it's at rest or in motion, and when you're going to retire. It's important to look at it from a full spectrum. And finally, solve one of the biggest problems that exists today in IT, and goes back to the 70-30 ratio, the fragmentation of the data center. You want to be able to do all this that we're representing up here, and you want to be able to do it in an integrated manner. A seamless operational experience. Not a puzzle piece, not a fragmented set of capabilities, but in an integrated manner. From an HP perspective, and I mentioned this before, our job, our mission, our focus is to help customers deploy a hybrid IT service delivery environment that factors in all 4 key capabilities. You want to be able to build an agile private cloud environment. You want to be able to consume services from the public cloud, whether it's from HP ourselves or from our service provider partners. You want to be able to transform your existing applications and infrastructure, and you want to make sure that that entire environment, end-to-end, is secure. We believe we are the only IT vendor on the planet that can deliver these capabilities globally today, and we believe in the future. And we're executing. So this is not a new strategy for you at Packet. We are executing, and you can see it here from a leadership perspective, innovation, and thousands upon thousands of customer engagements. You can see the factoids on the left here. We supply and power 8 of the 10 largest and most trafficked websites. 4 of the 5 largest search engines. 3 of the largest social media properties. And the largest cloud hosting providers on the planet. And with the same technology, our converged infrastructure, servers, storage, networking, management software, facilities management, and services capabilities, we've deployed thousands of private clouds. And let me reinforce again, we are utilizing market-leading technology, server storage networking management software, that underpins our entire hybrid IT delivery strategy, including both private and public cloud. We are eating our own dog food, that's a saying we use, and we're creating architectural consistency across all of HP's solution offerings. So, throughout the remainder of the day, you're going to hear about 4 exciting new announcements that reinforce and show you that we're actually executing the strategy that we've already announced. The first being a set of new data center transformation services that are going to allow our clients to actually deploy a next-generation cloud-era data center up to 40% faster. You'll see new announcements about Cloud System, our flagship private and hybrid on-premise cloud solution, including talking about, and Wolf King mentioned this, 50 cloud centers of excellence just in Asia Pacific. Tom Joyce will be up shortly to have some exciting news about world record performance marks for our storage, our 3-car storage capabilities. And finally, you'll see 2 new members of our virtual system family. And that should be exciting as well as clients look to virtualize on the way to the cloud.